Hyundai has sold more than 7 lakh venues till date. That's incredible considering how competitive the compact SUV space is in India. Every other month there's a new car coming up, literally. But after 5 years, the brand has decided to give this car a facelift, not just a minor one, but a proper new avatar of the very popular SUV from this Korean brand. During the course of the video, let's find out what are the hits, what could be better, and of course, should you pick this or the competition? Hello and welcome back to Shutterdrives. We are in this beautiful state of Goa to give you a review of this latest car. So this isn't any other normal facelift because Hyundai has ensured that there have been 60 changes that have gone into the new Venue compared to the earlier one. Starting off with the dimensions, the car is wider by 30 millimeters. It is taller by 48 millimeters, and of course the wheelbase is now increased by 20 millimeters, which means more legroom inside the car, which was the biggest negative of the earlier Venue. Now Hyundai has decided to focus on that and make things a lot better for their passengers. Thankfully, Hyundai has not gone overboard in making the design polarizing or radical like they had done it with cars like Verna, which kind of slightly backfired for them. Truth learned hard. You had the Creta, which was a design which was very well gelled with the masses, and that's why the same legacy, the same DNA continues with the new Venue too. You have a design which is going to be loved, which is going to be appealed by many people. You have the DRL running across the car, and what's interesting is for the front DRL, there's a nice casing that runs across the car, making it look very premium. You have quad LED setup here, not one or two, but you have quad LED setup for the headlights here. The grille isn't as loud and as vocal as the BMWs. It's subtle, especially with the black color. It actually camouflages within it and it's not looking out of place. Of course, the biggest important factor here is addition of level 2 ADAS in the new Venue. That's going to make a big difference when it comes to the extra safety standards. You have front parking sensors as well with a front camera. Overall, the design looks very nice and clean, absolutely no problem at all. Although there are plenty of things that I really like in the design elements that have gone into making this car, but if I have to complain about one particular design element, it is these alloy wheel design. I think Hyundai could have done a much better job, because if you look at the history, especially of cars like the Creta, Verna, or the even cars like Elite 20, Hyundai has been making fabulous design for their alloy wheels, but I don't know what happened now. We have a design of the alloy wheel which is not exactly very appealing. Probably they just gelled with the theme of this new aero alloy wheel concept. Moving to the other side portions of the car, you also have 360-degree camera. Now what I want to emphasize is, just like the reverse camera, the clarity of this is also quite good, no problem at all. The ground clearance is also pretty decent. You are not going to scrape the car anywhere. We came to the beach side here in Goa and we had a lot of rough patches, rough roads and all. Especially one part where the speed breaker was quite big. I was slightly apprehensive that gaadi ke niche lag na jaye, but that did not happen at all. So Hyundai has added this nice silver part here for the car, which makes it look little nice. It's not bad at all, trust me on that, especially in person. I really wish that this part could have been slightly better designed, because it gives you a hint of extra from here. And you thankfully get functional roof rails, and of course there's a request sensor for the driver. So speaking of the rear design of the Venue, firstly you have the shark fin antenna, spoiler, you have the rear wiper with diamond star here. But what's interesting is, if you look at the Venue badging here, it's not that Hyundai has placed VENUE on the rear part of the car. There's actually this very sophisticated glass cladding that is layered on top of it, which makes it look very premium. And of course you have rear parking sensors, rear camera, so everything is normal. But I'll show you something little interesting. Look at the number of bags that you are carrying in right now. This is in a sub 4 meter car. We have 3 bags here, plus an umbrella and another small chota bag here. Practicality at its peak. You also have rear parcel shelf here. Let us know what do you feel about the design of this particular rear side of the new Venue, because the earlier Venue had one of the loveliest, one of the nicest and classiest rear designs. Of course, Hyundai had to evolve it, they had to change the designs, but this is a new design language. So Hyundai has paid a lot of attention to detail when it comes to designing the interiors of this new Venue. Starting off with, you have two 12.3-inch curved display here. Now the thing is, something like this we have seen in cars which are not just a segment above, but cars which are a lot more premium, say the C-Class or whatever it is. But taking that inspiration from there and plonking it into a compact SUV isn't a joke at all, and that's something that has to be appreciated for sure. And the moment you look at the interiors, you feel airy because of this dual tone nature in them. You have the dark navy and a grey colored tone, which actually goes very well with the premium appeal of the car. You also get a new steering wheel here finally. You do not get the H, which is the Hyundai logo on the steering wheel, but you have 4 dots which represent H in Morse code. So more than the features, I'll point out something which are very useful. For example, the presence of physical buttons for all essential controls like the media and the climate control make a big world of difference. Trust me on that. You don't have to get distracted at all fiddling around the touchscreen. Thankfully, they have physical buttons and they're very neatly laid out, which makes a lot of difference. And then you have the wireless charger along with Type-C chargers. Unfortunately, you don't get USB charger, but nothing much to complain because a lot of phones these days are compatible with Type-C, and of course you have a 12-volt charger as well, which will be helpful for your tire inflator or any other thing. Speaking of the seats, these are leather seats. They are 4-way electrically adjustable. Of course, Hyundai did not want to cannibalize their own product, the elder sibling Creta, by having a 6-way height adjustable also for the electric seats. That's not there in the Venue. Of course, that is going to be for the product differentiation. Another difference that you find compared to the Creta is you do not get a panoramic sunroof in the Venue. You get a small sunroof, and I think that largely goes well with the proportions and dimensions of the car. You don't really need a panoramic sunroof for every ABC and XYZ car. So coming back to the seats, you get seat ventilation for both the front seats. Now that's something that Indians really love, and they're going to be happy about it. So speaking of the steering adjustment, you just get rake but not reach, which is slightly surprising for me. I really thought that you would have got a reach adjustment for the steering wheel, which is missed out. And another small issue that I find is the door handles. They're not exactly very nice and premium. Most of the car is built in a nice way, but the door handles, they do not feel very premium. I really wish we had the normal chrome handles, which would have definitely gone ahead with a nice subtle appeal of the car. So I have the gear lever here. This is of course an automatic transmission, and yes, the biggest elephant in the room is the addition of automatic transmission for the diesel variants, because earlier the closest competitor Sonnet had it and Venue did not have it, and that was an issue from the consumer's point of view. There were lack of options, but now that's not a problem at all. Another smaller detail here is this is not a normal glove box, it's actually a cool glove box, which is going to keep your Red Bull or Fanta, whatever, very cool, and you can have it later on. And coming to another point which is kind of important is you do get things like auto dimming, IRVM and all that, but unfortunately Hyundai skipped on the vanity mirror here for driver. It's basically not something that's going to add a lot of cost to the manufacturer, but something like that would have definitely helped, just to make sure that koi aake complain nahi karegi, there is some cost cutting going on in the car. And one small issue that I found in the steering wheel is the grip isn't exactly very comfortable. It's slightly slippery, and the same thing was there in the Creta also. If you look at the Creta steering wheel grip, it's not exactly very grip focused. It's slightly slippery. I think that should have been focused and rectified here. But other than that, the steering wheel feels very nice and butchy to use. A lot of nice tactile buttons on the steering wheel, which means that you don't have to fiddle around with smaller buttons, which is again a good thing because you don't want to get distracted when you're driving the car. Paddle shifters, of course. Now that it's going to add a lot of horsepower to the car, but they're definitely convenient in terms of shifting the gears of the car when you are on the move. Now, one really good thing that I genuinely appreciate is the clarity of the reverse camera is very good. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because we have seen cars like Toyota Fortuner which have pathetic camera clarity for the price that they command. But that's not the case here. The clarity of this camera is a lot better than the Fortuner, which costs probably 4x the price of this. And you also get 360-degree camera, which is definitely going to help you in taking this small car in tight parking spaces and shorter bylines of especially places like this Goa. Now, Hyundai doesn't want to call this as a console. They want to call it as a coffee table layout. Interesting name, but does it solve the purpose? Not exactly, because you have two normal cup holders here, electric parking brake, of course, auto hold function, drive and traction mode selector here. And what I kind of like here is there's some additional space here to keep your phone apart from the wireless charger space. Lot of practicality in the car is what I genuinely feel. And of course, you get 8-speaker Bose music system. Not denying that. The clarity of this is good. It's better than cars like Seltos and all that. But it's not the best. Don't go by the name of Bose. It all depends on the glass thickness of the speakers which are there inside the car. And then you have proper bottle holders. Thankfully, you don't have compromise like the Thar Rocks, जहाँ पे आप 1 लीटर की bottle भी नहीं रख सकते. That's not going to happen here. Hyundai has made sure that you don't stay thirsty. That's why you can easily fit in a bottle here. So if I had to review the earlier Venue, the biggest flaw I found in that specific car is the rear space was less. It was actually cramped, to say the least. And that's exactly why Hyundai decided to address this big pain point of this car by offering 20mm of extra wheelbase with this new platform. And that has translated to a lot better space inside, at least significantly better. Now you can see that the legroom is quite decent. It's not that the front seat is pushed all the way forward or something. It's actually piche hi bahut. And then the headroom has always been a strong point of Venue. The headroom of the Venue is still good, no problem at all. The seat support would have been slightly better, especially for taller people. They will feel that the seat is not completely good in terms of length. If that was thoda sa zyada, it would be perfect. Absolutely no problem in terms of what you'd expect from a compact SUV. And then you have Type C chargers here, not just one but two. You have rear AC vents, and of course you have a massive armrest here with two tiny cup holders that should definitely do the job for you. Now, Hyundai being Hyundai, what they've done is they've also gone a step ahead and offered manual sunblinds for the rear passengers. Not that we are expecting electric sunblinds in this price bracket, which is just going to complicate things for us, but manual sunblinds is better than no sunblinds, and that is a good thing. Now, speaking of practicality, which has been the USP for this car, the rear seat is actually foldable by 60-40 split, which means that you can actually take in a lot of luggage when you're going from point A to point B or from Goa to Namma Bengaluru. But when Hyundai has put in a lot of features, everything that you can possibly think of under the sun in a compact SUV, why are there no magazine pockets? Smaller but significant thing missed. By the way, the biggest blessing here in the new one is going to be the fact that you now get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now that's a big improvement, because that was not there earlier in the top-end cars of Hyundai, and this is going to be super duper helpful. So we are driving the diesel automatic, and that's important because the diesel automatic was not available in the earlier Venue, and now since we have that, we thought, okay, why not make the most of it. First things first, the steering is quite light. There is a slight diesel clutter from the engine, in which levels are decent. They could be slightly better. They're not completely soundproof or something, which is okay considering the segment that the car belongs to. But like I mentioned earlier, the grip on the steering wheel isn't the best of the best. It's slightly slippery. And then this is the horn of the car. Horn is a big thumbs up. It's, I think, the same horn that's shared with the current gen Creta. Speaking of the braking power, the braking comes from all 4 disc brakes in the car, which is again a good thing, which is kind of expected as well. Braking power is good, nothing out of the box something, but it's good, no problem at all. And of course, speaking of the driving position, you get a very commanding driving position in the Venue. I can see the complete bonnet end to end, मतलब पूरा left to right सब कुछ दिख रहा है यहाँ पे. So you can easily take in through tight parking spaces or whatever it is, no problem whatsoever. Of course, addressing the elephant in the room, that is the automatic gearbox. This is mated to a 6-speed automatic gearbox. This is not a DCT, this is a torque converter, and the gear shift from this is decent. You'll not get to know the shifts, and matlab, it's quite smooth, no problem at all whatsoever. Having said that, you will end up using paddle shifters because the car comes equipped with paddle shifters, which is going to be kind of nice and fun to use, especially on the twisties. Speaking of the power figures from the 1.5 liter diesel engine, which is actually shared with the Creta, its elder sibling, you get about 114 bhp, and the car makes about 250 Newton meters of torque from this. What's interesting is, in spite of this being a diesel, you don't feel any kind of lethargicness in it. It's very easy going, and since it's a diesel, you will also end up getting good efficiency. Now, efficiency on this car is something to be actually tested out properly. I don't want to do a short mileage test here. We'll do a proper one eventually. What's also interesting is, this is not based on the earlier Venue platform anymore. It's based on the same platform that the Ceros actually shares with. Now, unfortunately, notoriously, Ceros is known to have slightly poor mileage, and I really wish that that doesn't translate here. Having said that, I will make a separate reel on the mileage test of the new Venue diesel automatic. Speaking of the ride quality is quite decent. We came through multiple potholes, speed breakers and whatnot, and it absorbs the bumps properly, no complaints whatsoever, and it's got much better than what we had seen in earlier Hyundai cars. It's not exactly super soft. That also makes sure that the handling of the car is quite decent. So yes, that's about the all-new Hyundai Venue in a nutshell. So what I genuinely feel is, it's an absolutely amazing attempt by Hyundai Motors to make sure that the compact SUV segment is brewing hotter than ever before. You now have everything that you can think of under the sun in a sub 4 meter car. It has got most of the boxes right. Brilliant in terms of the feature list. Looks pretty well compared to what the design language is these days from most of the manufacturers. And of course, it really speaks practicality and swears by safety. But there are smaller things which could have been better. I do feel that there are a couple of areas where Hyundai has slightly cut down on cost. Number one, there is no adjustment for steering wheel in terms of reach, just rake. There are no adjustable seat belts and no magazine pocket for the front seats. These are the things which actually make a lot of difference in practical world, and big thumbs up for actually thinking of us and plonking in a wireless Apple CarPlay, because that was something which was missing in their earlier cars in the top end variants. That's about it. Let us know what would you do. Would you pick this or something else in the competition, or you will give it a miss? Thank you. Stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye from Goa.